In life, many people believe that happiness and success come from having more money, more achievements, or more opportunities. But the truth is often much simpler than that. Sometimes the biggest mistakes in life don't come from what we do, they come from what we don't do. They come from not appreciating what we already have, from wasting the time we have been given, and from ignoring the quiet voice inside us that tells us who we truly are. The story you are about to hear is not about just one person. It carries 3 powerful lessons that can change the way we look at life forever. These lessons are about contentment, about the value of time, and about finding the path that truly belongs to you. By the end of this story, you might begin to see your own life in a different way. One beautiful morning, a king decided to take a long walk through the countryside with his wise minister. The air was fresh, birds were singing, and the fields stretched endlessly across the horizon. As they walked through a small village, the king noticed something unusual. Near a modest house, a poor farmer and his family were dancing together. They were laughing loudly, cheering for one another, and enjoying each other's company with full hearts. Their clothes were simple, and their house was small, yet their happiness seemed genuine and pure. The king stopped walking and watched them for a moment. Then he turned to his minister and said, "How is it possible that they look happier than us? We have palaces, servants, gold, and power, yet their smiles seem more real than ours." The minister looked at the family and smiled quietly. "Your Majesty," he said, "that is because they are not members of the 99 Club." The king frowned with curiosity. "What is the 99 Club?" he asked. The minister replied calmly, "Give me 99 gold coins in 6 months, and I will show you." Curious to know the meaning behind this strange statement, the king agreed and handed over exactly 99 gold coins. That night, the minister quietly placed a small bag filled with the coins outside the farmer's house. The next morning, when the farmer stepped outside, he noticed the bag lying near the door. He opened it and froze in surprise. Inside the bag were shining gold coins. His eyes widened with excitement as he called his wife and son outside. Together they counted the coins once, then again, and then a third time, just to be sure. Each time the number remained the same, 99 coins. The farmer scratched his head in confusion. Why would someone leave 99 coins? He wondered aloud. Why not make it 100? 100 would be perfect. That single thought planted itself deep inside his mind. From that moment on, his happiness slowly began to change. Instead of feeling grateful for the treasure he had received, he became obsessed with the missing coin. Just one more coin, he thought, and the number would become complete. The farmer started working harder than ever before. He woke up earlier, worked longer hours, and pushed himself constantly. Not because he needed the money, but because he wanted to complete the perfect number of 100 coins. Days passed and his thoughts became more and more focused on the coins. One evening, he counted them again as he had begun doing every day. To his shock, there were only 97 coins left. Furious, he ran to his wife and shouted, "Where are the other 2 coins?" His wife calmly replied that she had used them for household necessities. But the farmer's mind had already changed. Instead of understanding, he became angry. The next day, his son unknowingly took 2 coins for something small. This time, the farmer became even more furious. Slowly, the joyful home began to change. Laughter was replaced with arguments. Smiles disappeared. Peace turned into constant tension. 6 months later, the minister brought the king back to the same village. This time, the king saw something completely different. The farmer's family was arguing loudly. Their faces looked tired and unhappy. The joy that once filled their home had vanished. Disturbed by the scene, the king turned to his minister and asked softly, "What happened to them?" The minister replied, "They joined the 99 Club. The 99 Club is made up of people who already have enough to live happily, yet they spend their entire lives chasing the missing one. In the process, they forget to enjoy the 99 blessings they already have." Now, let us move to another story that teaches a different lesson. In a large city lived a boy named Ryan. Ryan was known as the smartest student in his class. His teachers admired him and often praised his intelligence. His parents believed he had a very bright future ahead of him. However, Ryan had one serious weakness. He did not respect time. Instead of studying, he spent hours watching videos, playing games on his phone, and hanging out with friends. Whenever his parents tried to warn him, he would simply laugh and say, "I still have plenty of time. I will study later." Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. Eventually, the final exams arrived. When the results were announced, everyone was shocked. Ryan, who once used to be the top student, had performed very poorly. His teachers were disappointed and even his friends stopped taking him seriously. When Ryan returned home and handed his report card to his parents, they looked at it silently. The disappointment on their faces hurt Ryan more than any punishment could have. That night, Ryan went to visit his grandfather, a retired professor who was respected for his wisdom. Ryan sat beside him and said sadly, "Grandpa, I don't understand what went wrong. I used to be good at studying." His grandfather smiled gently and replied, "Son, you do not have a problem with intelligence. Your real problem is that you do not value time." Ryan looked confused and asked, "But can't I study later?" His grandfather shook his head and said, "Time is like the water of a river. Once it flows away, it never comes back." Then he told Ryan a story about a man named Adam Reed, the CEO of a large international company. Adam had built his company through years of hard work and dedication, but after becoming rich and successful, he slowly stopped respecting time. He began waking up late, delaying important decisions, and spending hours scrolling through social media instead of focusing on his responsibilities. One day his advisor warned him, saying, "Adam, you are wasting your most valuable asset. If you continue like this, your company will suffer." Adam laughed and replied, "Don't worry, I have plenty of time. I will fix things later." Unfortunately, later never came. Over the next few months, the company's profits began to decline. Competitors moved ahead, employees lost confidence in him, and investors started withdrawing their money. By the time Adam finally realized his mistake and tried to fix everything, it was already too late. His business collapsed, and he lost everything he had built. After hearing this story, Ryan sat quietly, thinking deeply. Suddenly, he understood something important. Intelligence alone does not guarantee success. Discipline and respect for time are far more valuable. From that day forward, Ryan decided to change his habits. He created a daily study routine, reduced the time he spent on his phone, and focused seriously on his goals. Slowly his grades improved again, and before long he became the top student in his class once more. Years later, Ryan grew into a successful entrepreneur, and there was one sentence he always carried in his heart. Time is the most valuable currency in life, and once you lose it, you can never get it back. Now there is one more story that teaches perhaps the most important lesson of all. In a quiet town lived a young man named Sam. Sam had just finished high school, but unlike his friends, he had no interest in going to university. His family owned a large horse farm and lived comfortably, but Sam felt confused about his future. He was not interested in school subjects and did not know what he truly wanted to do in life. One morning, while helping his father on the farm, Sam shared his feelings. Instead of becoming angry, his father smiled calmly and gave him a simple task. He wrote down 3 names on a piece of paper and said, "I want you to visit these 3 people. Ask them how they became successful. Their stories will help you understand your own path." Curious, Sam rode his horse to meet the first person, a famous athlete. When Sam asked him about his success, the athlete laughed and said, "I was ranked 38th out of 40 students in school. I was never good at studying, but I loved running, so I trained every day for 5 years." Eventually, his dedication paid off, and he began winning race after race. The athlete explained that success does not always come from academic intelligence, but from becoming excellent at something you truly love. Sam then visited the second person on the list, a successful restaurant owner. When Sam asked about his past, the man laughed again and said, "I was ranked 39th out of 40 students. I was terrible at studying, but I loved food and talking to people. Because of that passion, he started learning how to cook. In the beginning he struggled and made no profit, but his love for cooking kept him going. Over time he improved his recipes, learned how to attract customers, and eventually opened his own restaurant, which later grew into a thriving business." Sam felt inspired by his story. Finally, Sam visited the third person on the list, who had actually been the top student in school. Surprisingly, this man lived a simple and quiet life. When Sam asked about his success, the man sighed and said, "Yes, I was the best student in class, but I made one big mistake. I studied many things but never mastered anything. I knew a little about everything but was never truly excellent at one thing." Then he told Sam something surprising. Sam's father had actually ranked last in their class. After a serious leg injury, people began calling him the man with the golden leg. But despite his difficulties, Sam's father never gave up his love for horses. Through hard work and dedication, he built one of the largest horse farms in the region. Hearing this story helped Sam understand something important. Success is not determined by grades or by following the crowd. It comes from discovering what you truly love and dedicating yourself to it with focus and determination. When Sam returned home, he realized that his passion had always been right in front of him. He loved working with horses just like his father. From that day forward, he decided to become a horse trainer. He studied animal care, farming techniques, and horse training methods so that he could master the work he loved. Years later, Sam became one of the most respected trainers in the region. These stories remind us of three powerful truths. Happiness disappears when we constantly chase one more thing. Success fades when we waste our time. And purpose is lost when we ignore who we truly are. But when we learn to appreciate what we already have, respect the time given to us, and follow the path that aligns with our passion, life becomes meaningful and fulfilling. Many people spend their lives chasing the missing coin, postponing their dreams, and following someone else's path. But the future does not belong to those who wait endlessly for the perfect moment. The future belongs to those who act today, appreciate their blessings, value their time, and build a life that reflects who they truly are.